TSA just changed the rules again, and your favorite shampoo might now be contraband. No email went out, no alert from your airline, just a quiet update tucked into an evolving list of rules. One day it's allowed, the next it's not, and suddenly what's in your carry-on becomes the reason you're pulled aside, unpacked in public, and questioned by someone wearing latex gloves. Every day, travelers are delayed for packing what they thought was fine. The half-full tube of toothpaste. The travel-size lotion that isn't actually travel size. The hand sanitizer clipped to a backpack that used to get waved through without a word. Small mistakes become big problems when you're standing in line watching time slip away, hearing your boarding group called as TSA empties your bag over a gray bin. Most people don't know the rules have changed again because TSA doesn't advertise them, but they will enforce them. And what was allowed last year might now trigger an alarm, a secondary check, or just a quiet shake of the head as your belongings are thrown away. In this video, you're going to hear about the one rule change catching even frequent flyers off guard, the most commonly banned liquids that still surprise travelers every day, and the completely free tool most people don't even know exists, one that can tell you exactly what's allowed and what isn't before you leave home. If you've ever stood there watching something valuable get tossed in the trash, or felt your stomach drop as a TSA officer pulled your bag aside and started unzipping every pocket, you already know how this ends. That's the moment when you think, I should have been more prepared. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're someone who travels even once a year, you're already overdue. Do it now, or scroll on and end up in the comments section later, venting like everyone else. The 311 rule has been around for years, but here's the part most travelers still get wrong. It's not about how much liquid is in the container, it's about the container itself. That means if you pack a 4-ounce bottle of lotion that's only half full, it doesn't matter. TSA sees the bottle, not the contents. 4 ounces? Too big. It gets tossed. And it happens thousands of times a day. Let's break it down with precision because this rule isn't flexible. The number 3 stands for 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters. That's the maximum allowed per container. Not per product, not per person, per container. No exceptions for half-used, nearly empty, or barely there items. It's the packaging that gets judged at the checkpoint. The first one in 311 refers to a quart-sized clear resealable bag, not a gallon, not a random plastic pouch. It has to be transparent and easy to inspect. That means if your bag is opaque, oversized, or overstuffed, you're already slowing things down. TSA officers aren't going to open every container. They're trained to check visually, quickly, and from the outside. And the final one, that means 1 bag per traveler. Not 1 bag per backpack, not 1 bag per carry-on, just 1 quart-sized bag per person per screening. If you're traveling with more than that, your liquids need to go into checked baggage, or they won't be going anywhere at all. This is where most people underestimate the rule. They assume if something looks harmless or small, it'll be overlooked. It won't. TSA guidelines are enforced by both people and machines, and both are looking for specific shapes, densities, and outlines. Your moisturizer, your gel deodorant, your tiny bottle of facial oil. If it can smear, spray, pour, pump, or leak, it's a liquid under TSA rules. And if it doesn't fit in that single bag, it's flagged. It's inspected, it's thrown out. Even something as basic as a tube of toothpaste becomes a liability if it's in the wrong container. A 4-ounce tube, half empty, still gets tossed. The size printed on the tube is what matters, not how much is left. This isn't about paranoia, it's about precision. And once you understand how strict the rule really is and how little flexibility there is, you start packing differently. Not just to comply, but to stay ahead of unnecessary delays, waste, and frustration. The real hack isn't trying to get around the rule, it's understanding exactly how it works and planning your entire bag around it. That's the difference between a seamless check and a flagged bin, between boarding relaxed or rushing with a citation in hand. You've packed your liquids carefully, you measured every container, everything's under 3.4 ounces, but then you get to the checkpoint, and you're stopped. Why? It's the bag. The quart-sized bag isn't a suggestion, it's a filter, an inbuilt limit to keep you from overpacking liquids. And here's where things get technical. That Ziploc-style bag you grabbed from your kitchen, it's probably fine in the US, especially if it's transparent, resealable, and around a quart in volume. But if you're using one of those fancy reusable travel pouches with zippers, hard edges, or branding, you're playing TSA roulette. In some international airports, they'll confiscate the bag itself before they even look at what's inside, especially in Europe. Reusable silicone bags or semi-transparent pouches often don't pass the quick scan test, and that means repacking everything while a line builds behind you. So what's the move? Here's the hack that seasoned travelers use. At many US airports, security checkpoints stock free TSA-approved quart-sized bags right at the front. They're plain, ugly, disposable, but they get you through. If you're ever in doubt, grab one. They're compliant, they're clear, and they save time. Ziplocs work, reusables are risky, and the one time you think, it'll be fine, is the day your entire bag gets flagged for a manual check. Don't let the aesthetics of a travel bag cost you your boarding time. Now, here's a number that puts this into perspective. In 2024 alone, TSA reported that over 130 million people showed up at security with a full-sized water bottle in their bag. That's more than the entire population of Japan, all forgetting the same basic rule. If you've ever been that person, and you're still figuring this stuff out, you're not alone. Hit subscribe. This channel is made for travelers who want less guesswork, fewer holdups, and zero surprises at the gate. You're allowed one quart-sized bag of liquids. Not two, not 1.5, one per passenger. But here's the part they don't print on the signs. That limit applies to each person's hands, not each person's suitcase. So let's say you're traveling with a child, a toddler, or a partner who doesn't carry many liquids. That's your loophole. You're still following the rules, just redistributing what counts per head. If your partner doesn't use skincare, their liquid bag becomes extra space for yours. Flying with kids? Same logic. Their allowance is your backup. This is how seasoned travelers, especially those who love their creams, serums, toners, and mists, make it through with a full routine. Skincare lovers know the struggle. TSA doesn't care how expensive that imported amp yours. If it's your second quart-sized bag, it's flagged. Period. On the flip side, minimalists barely need one bag. They pack a travel toothpaste, maybe a 2-in-1 shampoo, and call it a day. Their unused allowance is wasted unless someone else in their group claims it. But ignore this rule or get lazy with your packing, and the penalty isn't just tossing a bottle. It's the full stop. Bag pulled aside, red bin, manual inspection. Sometimes even swaps. Every item is handled, unzipped, questioned, in front of a line of impatient travelers and TSA staff on a clock. What most people miss is that it's not the liquid itself causing the delay. It's the second back. The rule says one per passenger because that's what the scanning system is calibrated to detect. Go over that, and you become the exception, the person who needs extra time. So, plan like a strategist. Know who you're traveling with, coordinate your liquid limits, and never assume TSA will look the other way because in 2025, they won't. You'd be surprised what you are allowed to bring through TSA if you know the rules and know how to play them. Not every liquid is treated the same. Some are classified as medically necessary. That means the 3.4-ounce limit doesn't apply. We're talking about items like insulin pens, prescription creams, EpiPens, saline solution, liquid antibiotics, Dayquil, even cough syrup. Yes, syringes are allowed, but they have to be declared, and they have to make sense. You're not slipping them through your toiletry bag. You pull them out, you show them, and you tell the agent what they are and why you're carrying them. And here's the real move. Have the original packaging or a pharmacy label. It won't guarantee zero friction, but it tells the screener you're not improvising. Now, if you're traveling with an infant, even more allowances kick in. Formula, breast milk, juice, gel-filled teethers, ice packs, all permitted, in amounts well over the 3.4-ounce rule, but again, the condition is that you declare it. Don't bury it in the bottom of a diaper bag. You take it out, just like a laptop. Security officers will screen it separately. They might test for traces of explosives. They might swab the bottle. That's standard. It's not targeting, it's protocol. And here's what's changed in 2025, and a lot of flyers still don't know this. The 12-ounce hand sanitizer exception, rolled out in 2020, is gone. It was a pandemic-era policy that let people carry larger sanitizer bottles in response to heightened health concerns. But that's over. You're back to the normal limit, 3.4 ounces. If you try to bring more, you'll either be asked to dump it, check it, or in some cases, miss your window to repack and re-clear security. That policy quietly expired in early 2025. No banners, no alerts, just gone. And yet people still walk into checkpoints with Costco-sized Purell and argue with agents who are just enforcing the rules they didn't write. So, what's the real strategy? Know the exemptions, use them legally, declare them clearly, and never assume that a rule made for public health 5 years ago is still valid today, because in TSA language, the past has an expiration date, and it often comes without a notice. There are some liquids that don't just raise eyebrows. They stop the entire line. Bleach, pesticides, paint thinner. If it's toxic or corrosive, it's not coming through. checked, or carry-on. It doesn't matter how small the container is or how tightly it's sealed. These substances fall under hazardous materials regulations. That means they're not just restricted, they're flat-out banned. Same goes for anything flammable, lighter fluid, spray paint, propane, camp stove fuel. These aren't just risky, they're a direct threat to cabin safety. And even if your destination is remote or you're planning to use these for a project, TSA isn't interested in your plans. They're interested in prevention. If it ignites, pressurizes, or corrodes, it stays behind. And here's when most people miss: high-proof alcohol. Anything above 70% ABV, that's 140 proof and up, is banned in both carry-on and checked luggage. So if you're returning from an overseas trip with a bottle of absinthe, grain alcohol, or certain types of rum, you better check the label. If it's over the limit, it's not going on the plane. To make this simple, here are exact examples. A 16-ounce bottle of Clorox, banned. A camping-sized canister of butane, banned. A fifth of 151 proof rum, banned. A travel-sized can of pepper spray over 0.5 ounces, banned. This isn't guesswork. These are hard rules, but they're buried deep in TSA policy pages most people never read. And here's the reality. If your bag gets flagged and they find something you should have known was banned, TSA won't blame YouTube, but you might. So subscribe now, because once you're standing in your socks, arms out, watching your bag get wheeled off to secondary screening, you'll wish you had. Even in 2025, there's one thing that still confuses seasoned travelers. The same bag, packed the same way, can clear security at one airport and get flagged at another. This isn't a flaw in the system, it's the design. TSA enforcement is built on controlled unpredictability. It's a strategy, deliberately inconsistent, to keep bad actors from figuring out patterns and exploiting loopholes. If rules were applied the same way, every time and every place, someone would game it. That means even if you've packed like a pro and you're flying with TSA PreCheck, global entry, or you've memorized the liquid rules, you're still not immune. One agent may let something pass, another may confiscate it, question it, or trigger a manual inspection. And here's the part most travelers miss. The officer has final authority, not the TSA app, not the printed sign, not even the supervisor on the phone line. In the screening zone, that agent is the rule. This is why travelers get so frustrated. You can follow every guideline to the letter and still get pulled aside because your protein powder looked weird on the scanner. There's no official appeal process, no refunds for the sunscreen that got tossed, and no consistency across terminals. But here's the part smart flyers use to get around all that uncertainty. AskTSA. It's a direct line to a live TSA agent through DMs on X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. You send them a photo, a question, or even an Amazon link to an item you're planning to pack. They tell you, on the record, whether it's allowed. You'd be shocked at how often this clears things up. Want to bring gel shoe inserts? TSA says yes. A sealed microwave? That's a no. Spaghetti and Tupperware? Only if the sauce is mixed in. This is one of the most underused travel hacks available. No chatbot, no automated menu. Real humans, real answers. And when your bag's on the belt, those answers can mean the difference between smooth boarding and a full bag search in front of 200 people. Still not subscribing? That's fine. Drop a comment and tell us why you'd rather risk your whole trip over a mystery item, like spaghetti or a banned cream. You may have your prescriptions lined up, bottles labeled, and everything approved by your doctor. But here's the catch. Legal in the US does not equal legal abroad. Adderall, routine in America, completely banned in Japan. Yes, even with a prescription. Yes, even in small amounts. And yes, travelers have been detained or deported for it. Same with Sudafed and other meds containing pseudoephedrine, outlawed in several countries due to strict drug regulations. Even some sleep aids, painkillers, and cough syrups can land you in trouble overseas. So before you zip up that pill organizer, ask, does my medicine travel as well as my passport does? You check the weather, you charge your phone, you double check the gate. But if you don't check these TSA rules, your trip can fall apart before it even begins. We've seen it all. Confiscated gifts, travelers crying at security, flights missed over a jar of peanut butter. You don't have to be reckless to be caught off guard. You just have to be unprepared. This channel saves you money, time, and embarrassment. Subscribe now. What's the weirdest thing you ever got stopped for at airport security? We'll pin the funniest one.